Today I'm going to talk about 3 neighborhoods in San Antonio, Florida, and their pros and cons. Come on, let's go. The first neighborhood that I'm going to touch on today is Tampa Bay Golf and Country Club. I'm going to start with the pros for Tampa Bay Golf and Country Club because in and of itself, it's a 55 and older community. So that could be a pro for someone who is done raising their children. They have decided to downsize and they just want to live in a community with other adults and no children. So that is in itself something good. That's a pro for many people. It is a gated community. So that's also a pro for many people because it's very safe and secure. I will tell you from personal experience, because I've listed property out there and I would go to the home almost every single day, and every time I would go to the guard gate, they would act as if they never saw me a day in their life. So they are very serious about keeping the community safe. So that would be a pro. The renovated clubhouse, that is definitely a pro. They spent over $1 million in renovations to this beautiful clubhouse and the swimming area. And they have a billiards room and a card, you could play cards there. They have a library, they have a fitness center. So there's so many things that you can do at the main clubhouse, and I would say that that would be a pro. As far as cons go, there are HOA fees and deed restrictions. If that's not the type of lifestyle that you're looking for, then you would not want to live at Tampa Bay Golf and Country Club. And I'd like to kind of go back to the 55 and older group. Many people who live there are indeed retired. I have heard that there are some people who live there that have nothing better to do but to tattletale on what other people aren't doing right to the homeowners association. So if that's not the type of lifestyle that you're looking for, where there's always someone out looking as to what you're doing, then that's not the place for you. Finally, the last con that I can think of is that some of the homes are very close. They're adjacent to I-75 and you can hear the interstate. And some people don't like to have that, and it does sometimes bring down property value. So if you are looking to buy a property there and you're doing it sight unseen, take a look at an aerial of the property so you can see where the interstate is compared to where the home is, and that will let you know how loud you think that the interstate is going to be. So I've had some feedback about that being a con. Second neighborhood that we're going to talk about today is the Murada Tampa Bay neighborhood. Murada Tampa Bay is the area's newest community. It's going to have over 5,000 homes in it. It is located about 2 miles east of I-75, and it is just south of State Road 52. This is a master planned community with many, many builders, and its crown jewel is the 15-acre Crystal Lagoon. I will also start with the pros for this community. Of course, everything's brand new. It's new. It's new like a new car smell. It's new. That's how new it is. It's a golf cart friendly community. You can drive the golf cart up to the Mirada market, which has the Publix and other different things that you would need. Very convenient, so you don't even have to get in your car to go and do those things. It's part of the connected city corridor, which means it's going to connect down to Epperson Ranch, which is another Crystal Lagoon community. There's Ultra-Fi, which is some of the fastest internet speeds in the entire country. And I know that I mentioned that the Crystal Lagoon is the crown jewel, but it really is. It is going to be 15 acres. Can you imagine? Crystal clear waters. It's like coastal living. So you're able to have almost a beach-like environment inland without the prices of being on the coast. So the cons of living at the Mirada subdivision: you've got your HOA fee, you've got your CDD fee, you've got your monthly fee to use the Crystal Lagoon. So it can get very fee heavy. And if you're not into paying a lot of fees, that might not be the place for you. There's also a lot of construction going on around the community. Even before you get into the community, they're building up the infrastructure. So right now there's only one way in and one way out. And I mean, this is a place for 5,000 homes. It's not quite built out yet, but there are a lot of people that have moved in there. And anybody who wants to make a left-hand turn to go to the interstate from the community gets stuck in this bottleneck of traffic. It's very dangerous. There's not a signal there at the community right now because everything's going to change once these bigger roads open up. So I guess they didn't feel that it was necessary, the powers that be, to put a signal there. But it's quite dangerous trying to get out of that community, frankly. So that would be a con. For sure, 100% con until the road, the infrastructure opens up. There's so much construction that still needs to be finished in this community. So you're basically living in a construction zone. Your house could be finished, but directly across the street, you could have 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 homes right across from you that are in whatever stage of construction. So that's going to last for a while. So you'll have work trucks, you'll have dirt, you'll have dust, you'll have hammering, you'll have air compressors going, heavy equipment, trusses being put in with cranes. You'll just beep, 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 people backing up. You're going to have lots of noise, lots of activity, lots of non-residents in your community, and that's going to go on for a long time. Things are still under construction here at Mirada, and they will be for a really long time. So you're basically going to be living in a construction zone depending on where you are, and you could even have a porta potty right next to your house. There are some investors that have purchased blocks of homes. In this particular example, they're villas, and their investment company buys the homes specifically to rent out. They target a certain price range, and then they rent them out for a certain price range. So I noticed that there were maybe 5, 6, 7 rental properties in one of the areas of Mirada, specifically villas that were rental properties. Now, those homes are just under 1,700 square feet. They're not big homes, but the rent is pretty big for the area, about $2,500. So it's no cheap date. So I think that you should know as a homeowner that if you're buying on a particular street, you want to see who owns the properties around you. It is no secret that and this is not my personal opinion, this is a known, proven fact, that homeowners keep their properties nicer than renters keep the properties that they're living in, generally speaking. So you just want to know what's going on around you before you make a decision to purchase. So I would say just, take a look, because they're not limiting. It doesn't look like it's being limited as to investors versus owner occupants as purchasers in that community. So you want to be careful and make sure you know who your neighbors are going to be. The final area or neighborhood that I'm going to talk to you about today is Old San Ann. By Old San Ann, I mean it's not an actual subdivision per se. There are different subdivisions within close by of the Old San Ann area, but these are homes that aren't, and this is a pro, they don't have an HOA and they don't have deed restrictions. So ding, 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 that is a pro in my eyes. The homes are unique and they're generally full of character. Of course, there are some just standard concrete block homes, but I could say that you could drive through San Antonio, Old San Ann, and you could count 50, 100 homes, and not one of them is going to look like the other one. We are not cookie cutter in Old San Ann. Okay, so it's also very easy to get around in San Antonio, Florida. However you get around, if you walk, if you ride a bike, you can take a golf cart. I mean, you can drive, but the point being is that you don't have to drive. Go down to a restaurant, to go to the post office, to go to St. Leo and see the beautiful lake. You can go to the parks, you can hang out with your dog at the dog park. You can do a lot of different things in the city of San Antonio, in Old San Ann, without even starting your car. So it's an easy to get around little town, very friendly. So now I have to talk about the cons. And there aren't that many cons about living in Old San Ann. There are really two cons of living in San Antonio. One I'm not going to talk about, but the other one is the people who use are inner streets to cut through and avoid the traffic light at State Road 52 and Curly. And I don't really mind that people do that. I live on one of those streets. I don't mind that they're doing it. What I mind is when people are driving very recklessly and very fast down these side neighborhood streets with a posted speed limit of anywhere from 20 to 25 miles per hour, and we get people coming down at 50, 60, I bet 70. I've seen somebody go, I think, much higher than that. But the point is that these are streets where people ride their bikes, walk their dogs, they're taking a jog, and we have reckless people driving through just so they can avoid a traffic light. And that would be one of the cons. And there's not much you can do to get around it except for to know where you're purchasing, where you're living, where you're planning to live. Take a more detailed tour around San Antonio, Florida. Watch this video.